All right, welcome back to my second ALA. This is going to be talking about auditing financial statements and internet information, how you can use skepticism to both be a better auditor and better internet user. So, last time I gave very important advice, and now I'm going to give some more important advice using accounting and auditing about how to be a more well-rounded person. So today we're going to be talking about skepticism and how to use the skepticism standards that auditors use when looking at information online. Skepticism is one of the most important things that both an auditor and a user of the internet should be using to make sure that the information they're looking at is complete and true. Sometimes incorrect information can be posted on purpose, and sometimes it's just simply a mistake. In order to be both a successful auditor and successful internet user, having a sense of skepticism is vital. Professional skepticism is just one component of professional judgment, which is part of the accounting standards that require professional auditors to go by when auditing companies' financial statements. So some of the components of professional skepticism are availability, confirmation bias, overconfidence, anchoring, and automation. So availability, an auditor must make sure that they are using all available information, not just what is the most convenient to recall or use. If an auditor is working a very extensive audit, they may be more likely to remember certain things or have more things written down about something than others and might be more biased to making decisions based off that information that's most easily recalled. This is very similar to online. Don't just use what's most easily remembered by you or easily recalled. You have to go and look and make sure that you're making decisions and that your opinions of this information is based off a wide variety of information, not just I just read that online once. You can't just make your decisions or comments based off things like that. You have to make sure that you're going back and ensuring that what you want to say is complete, and that you're not using something that's like debunked, maybe it's satire, or you might just be misremembering something that you did read and completely making it to be something else. The next one's confirmation bias. An auditor might believe that a firm is misrepresenting its financial statements and might only look for evidence that supports that viewpoint, when in reality it could just be that there's a mistake, an honest mistake, and there's no intentional misrepresentation. But the auditor believes that there is and is only going to look for information that shows that, when there's plenty of information that would show the opposite. Same on the internet. You can't look for information that only supports what you believe or want to be true. This is especially apparent when dealing with politics online. Confirmation bias is incredibly apparent in online political spaces. This is also when someone is sending you information or you're having a discussion, you have to keep in mind what their political viewpoints are or might be to ensure that they're not doing the same thing. Next is overconfidence. An auditor can't assume that they're always right, as this can lead them to over-rely on their intuition instead of just purely looking at the facts and being objective. This is very, very common on the internet, where many internet users are subject to the Dunning-Kruger effect and believe that they're much smarter than they are and are more confident in their intelligence, what they're saying, because the internet heavily encourages debate culture and the need for a perceived intellectual superiority. So there's like a lot of fake expert behavior. As you can see, the famous Dunning-Kruger effect right there in the corner. The next one's anchoring. So in order, they can't put too much stock into their first impression of the information that was given to them. They have to keep going, and they can't let just that be what they're making their decisions off of. This is a psychological phenomenon. You're probably more likely to the first information to make decisions off of that. Same when you're online. Don't just base your opinion on the first thing that comes up on Google or whatever search engine you use, because for one, popular search engines, websites can pay more money to have their results be at the top. And the sites without that boosting, the sites that come up first, are just based on the amount of clicks they get. So it's not based on any sort of trustworthiness or prestige or correct information. And finally, automation. Auditors cannot completely rely on automated or computer-generated data. There are inherent risks that can complicate any sort of automated data, and auditors must look to more than automated data, which may be difficult. So auditors, they might need to look for physical proof of things like occurrence or existence to make sure that transactions occurred and that ending balances are correct. So they might have to literally track down buyers and suppliers to ensure that these transactions, or banks to ensure that these transactions happened, or going on site to make sure that a firm has the correct amount of fixed assets and inventory that it's saying it does. That's a very vital part of auditing, is actually going on site and doing this, not just office work, but going this real life work to ensure that things are correct. So this is when looking for information on a topic online. Don't just rely on AI to give you all the information, as automated AI responses may be misleading or incorrect. AI often hallucinates data, especially with numbers, and presents it as if it's completely true. And AI can be a really good jumping off point, but you have to double check that the information is telling you it's true. But once AI gives you information, you have to go out and do your own research, like an auditor would, going out and seeing if transactions and ending balances are correct. So that's another important skill you can learn from auditing. So once again, Fraud versus error and misinformation. Fraud is intentional, and error is unintentional. So a company could intentionally misstate an amount on a financial statement, or they could simply make a mistake that leads to a misstatement. Same thing on the internet. Sometimes information can come from a source that's intending to tell the truth, but there might be some mix-up along the way, maybe a misprint, some sort of computer issue that leads to the information being incorrect. While sometimes incorrect information can be published with the intention of misleading people online, so it's more malicious, similar to fraud. And in both cases, there can be personal mistakes. An auditor and an internet user can make mistakes with their audit or with their online internet usage. So finally, using techniques used by auditors, you can make sure that you're a more informed internet user and become more resistant to misinformation. Additionally, you can become a more educated presence in online discussions and when sending people information, which can help further educate others by ensuring they are receiving correct information. And you can be like this smart scientist guy using his computer. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next time.